The New Orleans Saints have lost both Sean Payton and Drew Brees in the past 2 years, yet they're still out here eating W's and doing the most with what they got. Now with Dennis Allen as head coach, we'll find out if we see an improvement or decline in the team. I'll be going over their starting lineups, the schedule, and last year's performance so we can get the most accurate prediction of their season. The passing offense was below average but had some efficiency, being the third least passing team, having the lowest completion percentage, least amount of yards thrown, while having the 11th most touchdowns and 20th best QBR. This was mainly due to a lack of quality receivers and backup quarterback play since Winston was out from Week 8. Rushing the ball wasn't much of a success since it wasn't unpredictable knowing that the Saints without a proper quarterback were going to run the ball 30 times a game. They averaged a good amount of yards but would have a tough time finding the end zone and breaking off for big runs. They picked up Mark Ingram midway through the season where he was able to fit back in right away. Looking at their offensive lineup, starting with the O-line, Teron Armstead decided to move on and sign with the Dolphins, so the Saints picked up first-round pick Trevor Penning at left tackle. Still, Andres P., Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, and Ryan Ramczyk are starting, and this should still be a top 10 O-line without Teron Armstead. At tight end, I may be biased, but I think this is the best tight end group in the league. You have young talent in Adam Troutman, Nick Vannett, and Juwan Johnson, and you also have Taysom Hill, who's a monster. He'll probably be all over the field, but at tight end is like the perfect spot because he's playing a receiver position. He could also block, and once the ball's in his hands, it's hard to stop him. At receiver is where it gets interesting. The Saints did not lose one receiver and are getting 3 starters this year. Michael Thomas has been out for the past 2 years and he's coming back fully healthy. The Saints added veteran slot receiver Jarvis Landry, but the most important thing that the Saints needed was speed. So they drafted 4-3 Chris Olave from Ohio State, who should be a deep threat with Deontay Harris and Marquez Callaway. You still have Traquan Smith and Kevin White as your backups. At running back, you got Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, and Tony Jones Jr. I like this group. You have a mix of elusiveness, speed, and power. At quarterback, Jameis Winston comes back from a season-ending injury. Andy Dalton was added as a backup, with Taysom Hill and Ian Book still on the depth chart. Overall, this team is completely different than last year. You have enough linemen and skill players to make a run for the Super Bowl. My biggest concern is Michael Thomas because without him performing to his full potential, there is no number 1 receiver unless Chris Olave could just take over, but I don't think he will be at the level of Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson. But if this team can perform to their full potential, they shouldn't have much of a problem, especially with such talent on the defense who continues to improve. Last year, the Saints had a top 5 defense, allowing the 4th least amount of points, 7th least amount of yards, had the 8th most sacks, and created the 10th most turnovers, mainly coming from interceptions by the secondary. This is probably the most impressive performance by a defense considering the injuries and head coaching change. They actually stepped up and performed better than usual. Looking at the roster, starting with the D-line, you still have Cameron Jordan, David Onyemata, Marcus Davenport, Shai Tuttle, and Peyton Turner, with the addition of Kentavious Street and Taco Charlton. At linebacker, Kwan Alexander and Craig Robertson didn't resign, leaving DeMarco Davis, Pete Werner, Zach Bond, Caden Ellis, and Eric Wilson to hold it down. At corner, Marshawn Lattimore, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, PJ Williams, Bradley Roby, and Paulson Adebo are still there, and the Saints added second-rounder Alontae Taylor, who should be a solid pick. At safety, Marcus Williams and Jeff Heath are gone, but the Saints made a great move signing Louisiana's own Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger himself, Marcus May, Daniel Sorensen, and Justin Evans. This defense looks stout from top to bottom. I love the D-line and DBs. I wish the Saints added a top veteran at linebacker, but if the younger backers can play better than last year, there shouldn't be a problem. But to get a better perspective on how well this team will do this year, let's take a look at their schedule. And right away it looks pretty competitive. Besides the easy division games with the Falcons and Panthers, the Saints only play one team that shouldn't be tough in the Seahawks. The NFL ranked this schedule the 8th toughest in the league. Last year they went 9-8 without Jameis. This year I have them going 11-6 and making playoffs. Week 6 is going to be crazy for Louisiana. LSU alumni from Jarvis Landry and Tyrann Mathieu to Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase playing against each other. This matchup is going to be sick. Saints fans, what do you think about this team? Do you agree with my prediction? Let us know in the comment section below. And by the way, if you bet on NFL games, click on the link below and visit thegridironbets.com. I go over all the research for each game so you don't have to. I also show you my picks and host a group chat for NFL bettors. giving you everything you need to have the best betting experience possible. It's convenient, it's free, and from what I've seen, there's nothing like it. With that being said, if you enjoyed my content, be sure to give me a like and subscribe, as it helps me beat this YouTube algorithm. That's it for this video. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.